Boosie got the Harry Fry.
Glamps in the majors. Your life turned to flipping pages. All the real talent behind them cages.
And we're back, Overtime Live Sports Bet Radio, coming at you live from the Gulf Coast. Thank you all for tuning in. Brought to you by our sponsors at TeamSpacePoker.com, Island View Hotel, Casino, and Resort. We have a special guest with us here today.
The one and only.
Valakhan Sajindikov is in the house, man. How you doing today?
I'm feeling pretty good. How about yourself, my man?
Just enjoying these
Besides this
playoffs,
hot-ass
man.
weather.
Yeah, it's a little hot down here on the coast, a little humid. But you know, we're going to deal with it. The show must go on. We got great sports to watch, great games to bet on. A lot going
Grateful
on.
for these games.
A lot going on in the world right now, man. It's coming off of a big draft, one of the biggest drafts I've seen in a long time. A lot of potential Hall of Famers coming out this year.
A lot of good quarterbacks, a lot of good receivers, a lot of good offensive linemen. Good draft in general.
And a lot of horrible general managers.
Yes, I will agree.
What do you think about this year's draft overall?
A lot of surprising names went off the board very early. A lot of bad decisions, a lot of good decisions, but only time will tell. You know, it's way too early to be looking at it right now and judging these decisions. But midway through the season, we should get a clearer picture of
Well, the whole goal overall when you go into a draft as a franchise or an organization, you want to look for the pieces your team was missing the year before.
Right.
You wanted to improve your team to where you get better results. You make the playoffs. You win that Super Bowl. You win that AFC Championship game. So some teams were able
it's
to
all
do
about
that.
filling holes. Some teams chose to fill the holes that they need, and some teams chose to fill holes that they'll possibly have in the future. And
Some teams just made decisions based on them keeping their jobs.
That's it.
Or just doing what their owner
That's it.
wants or what their head coach needs.
a lot of these general managers do what is the safest for them.
Financially is what it comes down to.
Yes, financially, and what is going to please their boss.
So who would you say had the best offseason overall?
I would say, in my opinion, the Arizona Cardinals hit it out the ballpark with the addition of J.J. Watt. They signed him to a 2-year deal. They also brought in a veteran wide receiver, A.J. Green, to a 1-year deal. A.J. is not the receiver he once was. We all know that. He's pushing 30 plus. But in the new system with a quarterback like Kyler Murray that can extend the plays and dangerous wide receiver in DeAndre Hopkins, I mean, possibilities could be limitless. I see a 1,000-yard year for AJ, a couple of touchdowns, 5 or 6.
Well, Cardinals have clearly been making their moves since the DeAndre Hopkins trade, which really was the reason they made it to the playoffs last year and had a chance with a very young Kyler Murray at quarterback. I was impressed with them overall. I think they're only moving in the right direction.
Well, having a young quarterback under a rookie deal also helps you bring in talent like DeAndre Hopkins. And this year they were able to bring in, like I said, J.J. Watt, A.J. Green. They also brought in a Pro Bowl center, Rodney Hudson, from the Raiders. They got him for a 5th-round pick. And the addition of James Conner is going to help with the short yardage situation. So I think Cardinals are set to make some moves this year.
Playing in a very tough division, they're going to have to be set because you're going up against Seattle and San Fran. Just the NFC overall, I think, is more competitive than the AFC. Every game, you're going to have to get better. You know. So, what do you think about the worst overall draft for the 2021 season? Who had the worst offseason?
The worst offseason would have to go to the Raiders, in my opinion.
Oakland Raiders.
They gave away their whole offensive line. They gave away Gabe Jackson, their Pro Bowl left guard. They gave up their center, which I mentioned went to the Cardinals. They gave away their tackle. They seem like a big mess, in my opinion.
But they kept their sorry-ass quarterback, who they've already been overpaying for years and hasn't chosen to perform yet. You know.
The one and only thing they have going for them is their superstar tight end, Darren Waller. He is unguardable, but having a tight end and a decent running back does not win you 10 or more games.
And I think Josh Jacobs is a great talent. I highly doubt he'll spend too much time there in Oakland, but
they made a mistake by getting rid of Khalil Mack a few years ago.
Oh yeah, devastating.
That just goes to show you what kind of
management
moves they're willing to make to keep their ass employed.
That's it. You do whatever you do with the right move, not the best move. You do the right move. So when we watched this first round out, we saw a lot of amazing talent, a lot of future superstars, a lot of college Hall of Famers coming off of the board. But who was the player that wasn't drafted in that first round that really surprised you?
To me, hands down, it was Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah out of Notre Dame. He was a top 10 projected linebacker coming out of college. Great versatility. He's got great size. He's a modern day linebacker that can cover, can blitz the passer, he can play the run game.
Where did he end up going?
He ended up slipping all the way to the third round to Cleveland Browns, which
Browns is stacking up talent.
Which, in my opinion, could be a number of issues. You know, he could have had something come up with personal issues. He could have had something dealing with health issues that we don't know about. Or it could even be him skipping out on a draft combine, honestly.
It's the little things that count.
It's a number of things.
You know, it could be something personal, you know. It wouldn't surprise me to have these general managers and scouts have personal vendettas and bias against players based on other things. Religion, sexual preference, race.
It could be anything. It could be anything.
It could be their favorite TV show. Who knows what it is? You say the wrong thing, you don't get the job. It's just like anywhere else.
All we could do is just sit and watch.
What shocked me was Najee Harris, though. Najee Harris falling all the way down to the 64th pick or something like that.
Well, in today's age,
way down there, man.
General managers think that running backs are not able to sustain their career for longer than 4 or 5 years. And making an investment like that in the first round, you want at least, you know, a little bit of longevity.
Yeah, well, he did make it the first round. I think he was the 24th pick is what he was.
To show you what difference maker Saquon Barkley was for his team.
Just as fragile, still got hurt and couldn't help the team winning games, you know. That's the only risk that you run when you take on a high volume running back, yeah.
They take a lot of punishment.
Especially at that young age, their body's not fully developed, they still haven't gotten all their muscle down. But I mean, Najee Harris, 1,400 yards, 26 touchdowns, man.
He is definitely
in your senior year.
He is nothing.
You let him fall to the 26th pick and go to Pittsburgh, that's a top 10 player right there. But in this quarterback-heavy draft, I guess people were trying to pick and choose what they need for their future, long-term futures. So,
okay, let's talk about which team had the best overall draft and which team had the worst overall draft, in your opinion.
My opinion, I think the best, I don't know, man. The best probably going to go to the New York Jets. I think they made all the right moves and picked up the pieces that they need.
I completely agree.
Potentially. But being rookies, man, you don't know what these guys are capable of performing. You don't know their character yet. You don't know if they're going to come out there and be complete assholes and just cause a disturbance in the locker room. Or
I've watched a lot of Zach Wilson in BYU. He seemed like a guy that could lead a team. He has the energy. He has the swagger for New York.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the coaching is going to cater to him a lot more than they were to Sam Darnold.
Well, yeah, Sam Darnold, you know, he kind of pooped his pants one too many times, man. And it just almost became...
Not only that, but he didn't have the supporting cast around him.
I think
they're not willing to invest as much as they are investing in Zach Wilson.
I think at the time they might have. I mean, in hindsight, it's going to be a little different. But you got to remember, they were playing in that division that was notoriously bad for so long. It was just the Patriots. I mean, you can't beat a really bad Miami or Buffalo team back then, and he had plenty of chances, man. And he just threw interception after interception.
That division is getting tougher.
The division's one of the best now.
Coming up.
Now that division's become one of the toughest divisions, you know, because the Buffalo Bills are looking like playoff runners again. So probably favored to win that division again. I know they got great Super Bowl odds right now.
But Jets are moving in the right direction. They've added Zach Wilson, which is a once-in-a-generation type of talent at quarterback, and they've added an offensive tackle that's going to help protect him. Elijah Moore is another good receiver coming out of it.
Rolling up the grass. past, living better than them niggas that I used to look up to. I can show you why to come up. Yeah, I came up from the gutter to a condo out in Hollywood where the weather's good and the party's always popping up on somebody and dropping off some treat. I mean, I got enough to go around everything for the free, so you ain't gotta smoke on me and my homies down to go to any one town to get this paper. I swear ain't nobody do me no favors. Twisting up the medicine, shitting on my competition. Easy parts forgetting, but the hardest part's to try forgiving niggas for mistaking me or thinking I was the one to wait. Or thought cause I was young that I'd be dumb. And nigga, what you made's a photographic memory. Now look at my wife, she got a pornographic figure, and my autograph is bigger to your nieces and your nephews than yours ever was. Not to mention your niggas, you caught them rapping Taylor Gang with us.
Everybody dead. You want that back?
You wanted it back, yeah, you wanted it back.
That's mine.
I see TMZ cameras, paparazzi taking pictures. I spark up a J and ask them if you wanna take one with us. Main man, ain't nobody make a nigga. About to book a flight to Vegas, trying to take one with us. You niggas too small, dog. Me, I'm thinking bigger. Critics comment on how I'm smoking weed and drinking liquor, or how I was nominated but not the winner. But you should. Hey yo, I never had common sense, but I had enough sense to calm my ass down and make my dollar stretch. Yeah. Hey yo, I never had common sense, but I had enough sense to calm myself down and make my dollar stretch. I'm like basketball to net, how I make it all connect. Move strong so the funds I collect come correct when the boss nigga check ya. If you don't come from the set, I don't respect ya. Better yet, jump on the jet and get them checks up. I never give nothing less than my best. You can tell by the way that I'm dressed. Great bottom and my dreads always fresh. Smoke so much, I swear that I'm blessed. Know so much, I swear I'm a genius. And I'm KOing niggas, we ain't calling it eating. Spend too much time online, I'm with your bra for the evening. She a big old freak, I pull it out and she eat it. You might think I got time to kill, cause I'm so real. Lot of niggas I could've checked this year, but I'ma chill. I ain't gotta tell that they faking time and will. When it come to being certified, I'm signing seal. Signed the deal since I was 16, I've been getting cream. A young nigga smoking weed like
extending a good crop of young pass catchers coming out of Ole Miss. Michael Carter was a steal in the 4th round, very explosive and a determined runner.
Yeah, definitely a steal.
Led the SEC with 113 rushing yards per game and 8 yards per carry. That's going to help out big time.
Yeah, that's big numbers for, you know.
Of course, now, who would you say had the worst?
The Saints and the Falcons equally had really poor decision making.
Do you think it was out of panic?
I think it was just out of confusion, and I think those are two organizations that are guilty of doing what the owner wants, you know, regardless of the consequences of the team, and I don't see the direction that they're going in.
Saints in the past couple of years had great draft classes.
Yeah, they managed to pull out some superstars, you know, and everybody wanted to give Sean Payton all the credit in the world for it, but I think it might have just been a Hall of Fame quarterback really helping them, and a lot of offensive weapons.
No, you can't deny the fact that Saints had a great draft class with Marshawn Lattimore, Ryan Ramczyk, Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas.
Yeah.
Those are all guys drafted within the last few years.
Yeah. You know, everybody gets it right sometimes.
Legendary, grade A+ draft classes, and this year they completely dropped the ball.
Well, tell us about what happened this year.
Well, the Saints in the 1st round decided to go with Peyton Turner, which is a little bit of a reach in my opinion. Houston pass rusher had a 3rd round grade by most scouts.
Wow.
And he was drafted 28th overall. This guy looks no different from Marcus Davenport, which we invested 2 1st round picks in.
Can't give up those 1st round picks, man.
In 3 years that he's been with the team, he has yet to put together a season where he has 6 or more sacks. And investing 2 future 1st round picks into somebody that can't get you 6.5 sacks is an issue. And they went ahead and did the same thing again this year.
Yeah. You don't learn from your mistakes, you're destined to repeat them. So
maybe in their thoughts that Peyton Turner might become another Cam Jordan, but we need help now. We need guys that contribute right now.
Cam Jordan's a special type of player, man. You're not just going to find a Cam Jordan laying around in the dirt, you know. He's one of those guys who has it mentally, and that's one of his biggest advantages. So superstars aren't just found laying around, man. And some of them have the potential, and they, instead of going towards their potential, they go the other direction.
But it also depends what kind of system they get put into, and what kind of players, supporting cast.
Yeah, it's all about your supporting cast and who believes in you. Would Alvin Kamara have had the career he's had without a Drew Brees? I doubt it.
Or Sean Payton.
I don't believe that they would be able to use him the way that they had anywhere else, you know. And he turns into an already Hall of Famer guy. Gets 6 touchdowns a game, you know, perennial Pro Bowler type of guy.
There are just so many variables that go into this for a player to be successful. First of all, he has to be liked by the coaching staff for him to get put into the spotlight
in the first place, you know.
Continuing on with the Saints, they drafted Pete Werner in the 2nd round, which is okay because given the recent history with the Ohio State linebackers and players in general, Saints have had success. But they did pass up on a great talent in Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, which was projected to go in the top 10 and slipped all the way into the 3rd round. Once again, I don't know what the concerns were with Jeremiah, but they probably know more than we do. So
they usually do, man. There's usually something going on there, but sometimes, you know, heart and passion can overcome any type of adversity. So whether it be an injury or just not having belief in a player, you can't let certain players just slip through your hands, like a Tom Brady or Arian Foster. I mean, there's so many players that go undrafted. Antonio Gates, you know, these guys go on to be superstars.
So like I was saying earlier, it'll take time for us to really know how well these teams did with their scouting. And
well, I don't know. I mean, you had a player like Chuba Hubbard, who I thought was going to be definitely top 20. I thought he was top 5 running back, and he's going to fall all the way to 126th pick in the draft.
Going back to what I said earlier about running backs, they're not as important as they used to be because of the longevity of the position.
I think they're more important than ever because of the longevity of the position. You're not going to find the right one. You're going to go through running backs.
General managers think that running backs are a dime a dozen and you can find them anywhere.
Well, the stats don't show that. We only have 5 elite running backs in the league, you know, out of 30-something teams. So obviously there's some running backs that are substantially better than others. Take a Derrick Henry, who wins a Heisman in college, goes on to be the best running back in the league by far.
Yes.
You know.
Or a guy like Alvin Kamara, who can catch 88 passes 3 years in a row and rush for 1,000 yards and score 6 touchdowns against Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah.
Ian Book was taken by the Saints, which I thought was a pretty decent selection.
133rd.
Given that he was drafted in the 4th round, I feel like if given enough time in Sean Payton's complex system, which revolves around timing and accuracy, he should be a decent prospect.
Yeah,
4-year starter at Notre Dame.
Got a lot of potential. It just depends on how much playing time he gets. If he gets a chance to display his talents, you know, in a system right now which is quarterback confused and they're trying to make a decision on which direction they want to go. I don't even know if he'll get the time to be relevant. You know, Jameis Winston might come out and actually throw the ball decent. So it was a pretty interesting draft this year. A very quarterback-heavy draft. A lot of hidden talent. I was shocked by some decisions. I was, not shocked by others. Obviously, Trevor Lawrence was going to Jacksonville, where they're looking to rebuild that whole franchise.
I'm surprised they didn't draft him right away.
Yeah. I'm surprised that they brought back Tim Tebow. But
which team do you think has had the worst pick in the draft, and which team was the most surprised? Which team had the most surprising pick in the draft?
The most surprising pick and the worst pick in the draft both go to the Falcons for me, with that Kyle Pitts taking a tight end 4th overall on a team that doesn't need everything but that. I mean, they're hurting in every position.
Don't get me wrong, Kyle Pitts is a hell of a player.
In college, when you're running against
hell of a nightmare of a mismatch
In college, when you're running up against linebackers the same size as you, it's a big difference when you're going up against linebackers twice your size in the pros.
Well, not only that, but drafting 4th overall, you would assume the Atlanta Falcons would have taken a franchise-altering player that would set them straight for the next 10 to 15 years, that would help them financially, that would help them with endorsements, that would help them
That's right.
in multiple ways other than catching 1,100 yards as a rookie.
Which I don't see him doing as a...
And Matt Ryan is only getting older. He is approaching 40.
Yeah. Clearly this was the perfect chance to get Matt Ryan's replacement, and they completely dropped the ball. And the most quarterback-heavy, talent-wise, draft I've seen in a long time, when you got Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, Mac Jones, Kellen Mond. I mean, the list just goes on and on for potential quarterbacks. But I guess if they don't show the mechanics, you go and grab the best tight end.
Well, they must really be invested in Matt Ryan, and he must be selling them the dream.
Well, they weren't invested in Julio. And we see where that got him.
I would say the most surprising pick goes to the Dallas Cowboys, adding a stud linebacker, Micah Parsons, out of Penn State. You would think with them having Kyle Van Der Esch and Jalen Smith, they would be satisfied with their young core of linebackers, but they have decided to go ahead and add another superstar to the mix, which, in my opinion, pushes them as one of the best linebacker cores in football.
Hey man, you do whatever Jerry wants in Dallas. You know, they've had injury problems before, so I guess they're going to make sure that's not an issue this year.
Yeah, well, Sean Lee is retiring, but I didn't see Sean Lee as a big big piece in our defense.
Well, thank you guys for tuning in. That was our 2021 draft recap for the NFL season. We are looking forward to a big year. A lot of big changes. Really a wide open field, man. There's no telling what kind of season we're gonna see here. I don't know who's gonna win what, but Chiefs are still favored right now. Tampa Bay second. Buffalo's coming in 13-1. Surprisingly, the Rams and Baltimore are both 14-1. You know, Baltimore's my favorite to win the AFC. A little too early to tell, but
hopefully the Saints can prove us wrong with these draft picks, and hopefully they know more than we do.
Hopefully they do. They sure get paid a lot more. All right, you guys have a great night. May all your bets be live, and good luck to you.
Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you. I'm gonna go get her from school.
We didn't cover all the topics.
Yeah, but we ran out of time.
How long was that episode?